Hello, I'm SupaWaluigi, and welcome back to NintendoWorld, doing the SupaConstruction series. These intros, every time. I should just call it NintendoWorld. But we're back doing Luigi's Mansion, the interior this time, and now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is the part that we're going to have to use our imagination quite a bit when it comes to the finishing the scenery in here, because Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, the scenery for what we were trying to do for this ride in particular isn't great. We'll get to it in a moment, but at the moment we are just fixing up some holes in the mansion on the inside. Just wanted to get some windows for some of the corridors there, and now we're going to go by each room and try and theme it almost, because like in the games, well, it was more obvious in Luigi's Mansion 2, really, between different mansions, but between each room we're going to try and give it a specific theme, which was the difficult thing that I was talking about. So we're going straight to the attic first, because I thought that would be a good point to kind of make a very cluttered room that you could fit in a lot of different bits of scenery in, and make it like a room from one of the games. So we're kind of doing like a I don't know really what to describe it, like a treasure room almost, but like a really cluttered treasure room. So you've got piles of gold, just because you can, some cluttered bits and bobs there. We've got a cannon, just because I thought there was like an old kind of object that would fit, pointed directly at the guests as well on the track. If there was a piece that could animate and fire like it was a proper cannon, that would be good. And we're getting our old useless, that's not what I wanted to say, old useful scenery object, the barrels, just to make it a little bit more cluttered. Now we're not really doing the rooms in any order. I think we were just doing the rooms whenever I had an idea for some of the scenery, but we've gone straight to the end where kind of all the spookiness builds up to this climax with different kind of spooky elements in this. I'm going to call it the dungeon. It very much looks like a dungeon and gets quite morbid for what would be a Luigi's Mansion ride, like the skeletons inside the cages there, and a guillotine. And we're just going to get a lot of skulls and look, Iron Maidens as well. This is quite dark for a Luigi ride. But as you can see, there's also a lot of very large objects that would have been great to use, but they don't fit on the inside. Now, I could have made a bit more space, but then I think I would have had to change the shape of the mansion for some of those objects. Look, it gets even darker. Look, there's skeletons stuck in the wooden stocks there as well. And more barrels, just to make it look a bit more cluttered and dungeony. It's actually, I would say it's a little bit disappointing on the spooks front. It would have been great if there was just some sort of ghostly apparition-like scenery object, but sadly there is not. These gargoyle animated pieces are quite good, so I'm glad I've got a couple of those in. And we're just adding in a little elements, kind of standard elements, like these pots, just to kind of show off that dusty ancientness that the mansion has. And then in the very first room, for some reason we've gone with a kind of like a nautical theme. We get a few fountains in, and these ancient Atlantis vases. Again, it just was quite difficult trying to think of the proper scenery items to put in each room to theme. And even so, this room in particular has fountains. That's not even a theme. Probably should have used that dolphin fountain instead of the frog fountain again, because that's kind of the central piece to the lobby area of the building. But if we just could have gotten some more columns, maybe that would have been good. We're getting in some of these lion figures as well. So it's kind of like a nautical / regal theme, ancient civilization. I don't know. It's a little bit too much of a mismatch. So I might go and change it slightly, and instead of barrels this time, lots more pots. just to make it a bit more cluttered in there. Now this back room was originally, I had the idea of it being a kitchen, but then I quickly realised that there's no kitchen cookery themed scenery pieces whatsoever, so we're going to have to change that, and instead I had the idea of turning it into like an overgrown kind of jungle area, with a few little creature or animated objects inside as well. And probably one of our first scary elements that you'll see in the ride, a giant cricket or grasshopper, or cricket or grasshopper, not sure. But yeah, it's going to be a overgrown jungly area that's kind of cracked through the mansion walls itself and is spilling into it. And I did have an idea whilst just reviewing the footage for this, that I will probably do off screen, to make a little greenhouse area just off that corner. Kind of suggests that the greenhouse itself has been overgrown for so long that it's gone into the mansion, and I thought that would be a good little idea, instead of what would have been a very lackluster kitchen, because there would be nothing in it. We are zooming around quite a lot, I've realised, so hopefully it's not going to make anyone motion sick. Oh, look at that. Got a few little divers in there as well, so helps with the nautical theme, but not a lot. What are we doing here? You can just see the franticness trying to find different scenery elements, and we've just got a couple of skeleton knights in there before the twisty tunnel. And where are we going, Sam? Where are we going? Oh yeah, patch up a hole in the roof. That's good. And now we're moving into this room here. Now this room fits in quite well, I feel, because in both games there has always been a little sci-fi kind of area, space area. So we're going to be putting in a few sci-fi objects in here, and yeah, I think this room is probably the best room, maybe? I don't know. I do quite like the dungeon and the attic areas as well, but yeah, it's just really hard trying to find the right objects to put in this. It just really annoys me that there was no kind of generic spookiness kind of scenery objects. That would have worked out much better, but sadly there isn't. So yes, you can see we've got a rocket as kind of like the centerpiece to the room. Kind of goes over the riders, and we've got these strange sci-fi obelisk things that spin around. I have no idea what they are, but they work quite well. So, and there was a nice big gap there, but nothing could really fill it quite well. Certainly not a UFO attacking a small city. That doesn't exactly work. But we've got a little robot in there instead, and these lights work quite well because they give off a nice blue glow that you can even see through the windows once we get outside. Getting an extra little robot there as well. Just having a check over. And just a few little more objects, fixing up that hole, and we are slowing down to see the finished build. There is Luigi's Mansion completely finished. Yep, the interior is a little bit... we're going to have to use our imagination for the interior and some of the objects in there, but yeah, I think that's turned out quite well. I'll do that little greenhouse idea off screen, and we'll check that out in the next episode. And I will put in the Luigi's Mansion theme, and we'll give the ride a little ride in the next part. So thank you very much for watching. Bye!